calling me when you're done, or is that how I do?
Yes. Everybody, can we get inside? Možete ući unutra, krećemo. Dobro jutro, good morning, everybody. I will speak in English because we have a lot of international guests, but this time we have translators here who I greet, and please give them a warm welcome because they had a lot of work to do today. They will help all of you to understand what we are talking about better. So, thank you for showing up this early. I know it's a bit early for everybody, but it's a football day, so we have to start on time. This is the fourth edition of Runda Digital Day. We already had one successful event a week ago in Skopje in cooperation with PIN Conference and Showcase, and we thought that we will have here partly similar subjects, but also different panelists, different people to come here to talk about what is happening at this moment. Firstly, in digital. This is the idea of the conference. We started this conference as something that will help our members, firstly, to learn to educate themselves in digital world, in digital distribution, to learn about all the techniques, they can use to promote their music and the artists better, and that's how this whole thing started. Actually, it surprised us all that it was already first year so successful, so we continue to do it, and as you know, next 2 years we had COVID, so we did it online as everybody. Last year we did partly online, partly live. Now we are fully live, but we are also streamed on all platforms of Runda, Facebook and YouTube. So whoever is watching us, I of course greet them to join us too. The Runda Digital Day is supported by Merlin, and of course without help of Impala it wouldn't be possible. Also, we always in Zagreb have support from our friends from HDU and Zaprav, so these are our partners here on the conference, and these are people without who this wouldn't be possible. Without any delay, I will call our first speaker today, Angela Bruce. He's coming from Impala, and he will tell you what's new, what happened during last year in Impala, and give I think, really good introduction to our first panel and for our first panelist. Thank you again, welcome, and I think it will be a good day for you, for all of us. Angela, please come.
Hello. Thank you very much for having me today. So my name is Angel, and I'm looking into digital and public affairs issues at Impala. Impala represents music companies and labels, independent labels throughout Europe. We represent now around 6,000 of these labels, and Runda is one of our trade association members, so maybe let me start by saying thank you very much to everyone at Runda for inviting us and organizing this great conference. I hope you will enjoy today. And what I've been asked to do, as Dario said, was to present you Impala first and then focus on a specific work area that we've been doing throughout the last year, which is our streaming plan. And so let me jump right in. If I'm speaking too fast at some point for the translator, I'm happy to slow down. Yeah. So, as I said, Impala represents independent music companies and record labels. We stand for Independent Music Companies Association, and we're established in 2000. That's a bit more than 20 years ago, and 2 years ago, then we celebrated our 20th anniversary. It was a great moment for us, and we released a bunch of stuff, so maybe you've seen this here and there. We had postcards, we had milestones, a list of milestones that Carla actually prepared. So, yes. The number of companies that we represent now just crossed a bit more the figure of 6,000 members, which is a really big milestone for us. That's been with the recent introduction of a member in Turkey, the very first one, BMYD. And we are now covering 31 territories. These are our members, and this is where they are. At Impala, we try to level the playing field for independence, and the mission is to be pillars, sort of. So first, commercial work. This is when we talk to other like people in the music sector to try to improve it. For example, when our digital committee talks to platforms, Spotify, YouTube, etc., to try to relay the concerns that our members are sharing with us. Or when we do, for example, this plan to try and reform streaming, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. We also have some political and finance work. This is when we talk to EU institutions and also local institutions to try to fix issues linked to very specific topics such as copyright, for example, or how to fund music via programs. And finally, exchange of knowledge is what we're doing today, for example, and what we do on a daily basis. And the promotional work that we do is, for example, what we did for 20th anniversary or for the awards that we release every year. We have some projects that are co-funded by the EU. Last year we ran the Impala Campus, which was a training project. And this year we have the Impala Impacts project. I'm not going to talk about it because Carla will present it later today, and she's going to do it much better than me. Some example of our ongoing work over the last year, GCAT, so it's our touring proposal, and how to ease red tape to try and encourage touring activities to restart. Some work on equity, diversity, and inclusion. If some of you are part of our membership and of our committees, you would be in relationship with, with Lucy on that, with coordinating this program. You have been circulated, I think, all over One Step Ahead reports and webinars. Dario made sure of that, and I hope you like them. And we also have a big work on streaming. We released 10 points to try and reform the ecosystem. And so that leads me to my next point. Our 10 points to make streaming work. Yes, so I mentioned it a bit. We have a few committees at Impala. We have a committee on digital, a committee on sustainability, on diversity, and they are made of members like Dario, like Case, and who are helping us bringing the expertise within Impala. And this streaming working group released in 2021, so last year, in March, plan in 10 points to try and make streaming work, to reform streaming. So that's quite ambitious, I'll give you that. But I mean, our mission statement does say that we have to inspire change. So I'm going to try and take you through this plan, explain it as clearly as I can. If you have any questions, of course, don't hesitate to ask me. And I will start by giving debate. The discussions were really revolving around kind of a fight between two models, the user-centric model and the market-centric model. And Impala really believes that such a discussion on such an important topic, which is streaming, cannot be limited to these two issues. After all, digital and especially streaming now represents around 60% of total recorded revenue, so we cannot just like take it not seriously. So what we try to do is give independents a voice so that they are seen as a leader in this debate and come up with what is an optimal proposal. The reasoning is the following. In 1994, you had maybe a few thousand albums released here and there in Europe. In 2021, when this plan was released, we were talking about 60,000 songs uploaded every day, every single day on platforms. And we hear recently that this figure is increasing up to 100,000 tracks every day. So for fans, of course, it's kind of a musical golden age because all the recorded content is there. They can access it all the time, just through their phone. And you can say, of course, in some aspect that streaming saved the music industry because it brought up millions of paying subscribers into the revenue mix. That's great, but when you look at the figures, despite what the IFPI report shows, you know, this curve that is like this, and now almost at the same level as the early 2000s, it appears that for the recorded sector, when it comes to trade revenues, the European market is only at 50% of what it was at its peak in 2001. And when you adjust it to inflation, it's actually 35% only. The thing is that the amount of music that we offer on platforms has never been as high, but at the same point, the price to access music has never been as low because subscription prices never changed. So we need to find new ways for streaming companies to grow revenues. Not a choice between two models, and EOR is no silver bullet. So EOR is, of course, equitable remuneration. I already mentioned that we needed to go beyond this sort of fight between the two main models that are being proposed. And we also see equitable remuneration, or so-called equitable remuneration, as a non-solution because it was rejected by the 3 EU institutions during the talks on the EU Copyright Directive. And we don't think it would shift the needle meaningfully and actually would damage emerging artists. There is no silver bullet, whether it's in streaming or anything else, and we shouldn't just go with this idea that one thing can just fix everything. And that is being presented right now with the equitable remuneration. The next step to make streaming work for all is, well, to explain that, I mean, the idea is that every single point in this plan was based on the idea that we want to reform the streaming ecosystem to make it fairer for all. And so to do this, we really believe that we have to work with streaming services, which are our partners, because it's only by working together that we can achieve an improvement, a meaningful improvement of the market. So we would like these streaming platforms to trial out some of our points. And to be completely honest with you, it hasn't happened so far. They were quite resilient to do so. So we're going to try to approach new platforms now. Let me go back to this. So what's in this plan, basically? And a quick overview. We have various proposals to reform distribution models and revenue mechanisms. Bless you. It's the core of our plan, really. But we're also touching upon how services function, whether it's search, algorithm, streaming manipulation, and et cetera, et cetera. A very strong point in our plan is to call on independent labels to pay their artists contemporary digital rates. And also, as I said, on the other hand, we oppose equitable remuneration. We think that fair digital rates are the way to go. We want to inspire change by promoting diversity and sustainability and develop national markets. And the next steps, as I mentioned, is to work with platforms to try to test out some of our proposals. But what's exactly in the plan now? I'm going to go through the 10 points. The plan starts with a call to end safe harbors, effectively, no new loopholes, no new surprises. You're probably all aware of safe harbors, but to explain it in a second, maybe, it's the fact that some platforms are not responsible of the content that is being uploaded, that they host. So this also includes, unfortunately, illegal content, such as copyright infringing content, just because it was directly uploaded by a user. So we need to end that. This was our point of our position throughout the discussions on copyright in Brussels. And the thing is that it's the first point for a reason. It's the most important in terms of growing the overall pie and not just redistributing what's inside, but growing the overall pie. And also because if you want to achieve meaningful change, well, as long as one or two platforms will benefit from such unfair advantages, nothing will move, of course. So that's why it's the first point. The second point is about, as I said, asking labels to pay artists a fair contemporary digital rate, but at the same time opposing equitable remuneration. We agree with artists in many points, whether it's transparency, trying to change outdated contracts, but we don't think that equitable remuneration is the way to go because it's damaging emerging artists. Instead, we're behind alternative models, and that's the point 3 of the plan, how to reform allocation of streaming revenues. So here we have different proposals. The pro rata temporis model, for example, you're probably all aware of what it is as well. It's the fact that to reward better long-form content, you would base the remuneration not on plays, but on the length of a track. Because right now the problem is that, for example, classical pieces and jazz pieces are suffering from visibility, first of all, on streaming platforms, but also the remuneration model, because they are paid the same way as a track that is only 1 minute long, for example, means that they are not benefiting from that. The active engagement model would be the fact that to encourage a better relationship between the artist and the fans, you would stimulate active engagement. So that's when a fan saves a track, likes it, pre-orders it, puts it in a playlist or things like that. This would benefit from a premium rate. Again, with the idea to enhance this relationship between the artist and the fan. The artist growth model, this is something that was developed by AIM in the UK. And it's the fact that the idea that the top tier artists would earn less from streaming, a bit less, so that the bottom tier would earn more. And as you move up the chain, the streaming chain, let's say, you would earn a bit less than before to encourage innovation, new artists, and niche also, niche music. The last one, the user choice model, that's not user-centric, user choice, is trying to develop some incremental revenues within the platforms themselves, for example, by offering some extra features to fans who would pay a bit more to access that, whether it's new tracks, whether it's merch directly, and these kind of things. It's already happening with merch, with, for example, Spotify that partnered with Shopify. We think it's great, but I think there could be new ways of encouraging this as well. Our point 4 is a strong opposition to reductions in royalty in exchange of privileged treatment in algorithm. That's directly targeting discovery mode because we see it as a new kind of payola where it's pay for play, and for us it's completely illegal. The point 5 is just to reiterate that it's important to enhance revenue mechanisms, especially in territories where streaming platforms are not able to convert free users to paying users. And again, we'll come back to the first point, because as long as people will have YouTube, for example, that is free of charge to listen to music, it's going to be very difficult for other platforms to convert free users to paying users. The point 6 is a call for streaming services and also all in the industry to be vigilant about streaming manipulation practices. That also includes, for the fans, maybe ad blocking, using ad blocking and streaming ripping software. Because we have to remember that despite streaming, piracy is still there. The IFPI's report from last year that focuses on consumers says that a third consumers are still using accessing music through illegal means, 27% through stream ripping software. So we have to be really vigilant about this. The point 7 and 8 are the kind of diversity aspect of the plan. Point 7 would ask streaming platforms to enable search by labels, by performers, producers, composers, etc. And the point 8 would try to boost local repertoire and languages, for example, through having the possibility to upload tracks on streaming platforms in several languages. We think that there is a lot of potential even in smaller markets, and these 2 points are a really simple and easy way to unlock it. We hear that it's already possible to on platforms, so we are going to try to develop a note to explain members how to do that. The point 9 is a reminder that, and especially a call to platforms to make sure that algorithms don't impact negatively independence, niche repertoire, and local repertoire. And the point 10 is about asking everyone in the industry to assess their carbon footprint emissions and try to take the necessary steps to address that. And I think something that Carla might mention a bit later as well. And that's it. So if you have any question, I'm going to be here throughout the day anyway, so we can discuss it whenever you want. And I think that the next panel is going to be also around that, so we can dig deeper into all of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Angel. So